Welcome to the IT All Staff Webcast. Today we're live from the HQ Equipment Shop, located in the picturesque Alhambra Triangle, underneath the historic Lincoln Highway. Now, put your hands together for a couple of guys who buy all their Christmas gifts with Bitcoin, Mike Nguyen and Carl Copper.
Morning, Carl.
Morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you too.
Yeah.
I feel like I forgot something or missing something.
Where's our boss? Where's George?
Oh, George. That's right. I thought you were going to tell him.
No, I thought you were going to tell him.
I thought we had a mix-up. Oh, you were going to tell George today was the all staff meeting.
This is how we roll in IT.
Oh no.
It's a mix-up from time to time.
Yeah, it was your turn to watch him, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right. Well, for those of you who are new to Caltrans, my name is Mike Nguyen. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for the department.
And I'm Carl Copper. I'm the Chief Information Security Officer and Privacy Officer.
All right. So welcome, everyone, to our quarterly all-staff meeting. We have a very, very rich program this morning. And at this time, I'd like to inform everyone who is back in the office and in the district watching the webcast. The Ask George mailbox is open, so feel free to take advantage in sending your questions to that mailbox. And Ron, as usual, will be monitoring the mailbox, and he'll be teeing up the questions to the team later on in the program.
And if you're watching the video, it's right here.
All right, so Carl, who's our guest today?
Well, we're fortunate enough to have Bob Myers here with us today.
All right.
Hosting us.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Mike.
Thanks for joining our program.
Morning, Carl.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
We're doing great. Well, Bob, as you know, this is an opportunity for IT to really use our technology, webcasting capability, to really reach out to our staff and really inform them, what's going on around the state. So we're very fortunate to have you here today. I heard that you're doing some really exciting things in the equipment shop. Can you take a moment to really tell us what you're doing?
Sure. So I don't know if a lot of you know, but this facility is 100 years old next year. We've been here since 1921 in different forms. So we have a lot of experience building equipment. So this compound actually designs, builds, purchases, and sells the entire Caltrans fleet. So the Caltrans fleet consists of about 12,000 units. They all come through here. A good example is this truck behind us. The truck behind us comes as a cab and chassis. There's nothing behind the cab. It's just a bare frame. And our engineers design the layout. They spec the components. We buy the components. And then they actually have the drawings to install the components. And so the mechanics here build the truck. We build all of our own wiring harnesses here, which is pretty specific to our industry. And I think if you take a look around, you're going to see this is one of 34. In each one of the shops, there are different builds going on. We have 10-yard plow trucks going on in the fab shop. We have the remaining run for these one of 34 in the shop next to us here. And on the other side, we've got a snowblower over there if you want to go see that. Everything is evolving to where it takes technology to power. This crane is computer programmed. Our mechanics actually program what the parameters are for that crane. It actually sends updates over the internet to update the crane software. That goes with trucks also. So what I want to say to the IT group is that this is something that's going to be getting more and more prevalent in our industry. And we need your help to make sure that we are doing things and are capable of doing those things of the Internet of Things, right? Because that is the future for us. The OEMs don't talk to each other right now, so it's up to our engineers to actually figure out how the crane communicates to the truck, because they don't do that. We have to do that. So it's getting more and more complicated. But over the 100 years, one of the things I think that's really important that we do is we take consideration from the customers that we supply these trucks to. And so if you would have looked at a guardrail truck years ago, it was probably actually hauled by mules, right? When we started in 1921, right? And then everybody wanted, Henry Ford came out with something, right, that we can, hey, let's get some of that stuff. We actually started with getting World War I surplus, believe it or not. And this facility actually built the first CAL FIRE fire truck for the state of California. So there's a lot of history here. We actually do a lot of things, and I encourage you to go out and take a look around when you're taking a break. But I also want to encourage you to be safe because you are on a compound that's live. We are in the process of building things. You're more than welcome to wear safety glasses and go in and take a look at some of the stuff that we do. I think there's going to be two things you're going to say. The one of them is wow, and the second one is going to be I had no idea we did that. And that's pretty predominant about people that come and visit Division of Equipment. So with that, I want to turn it over to a short video that kind of shows you and showcases some of the things that we do here at Headquarters Shop.
All right.
Well, welcome to the equipment shop. I'm here with Jason McMillan, the big dude in charge. Thanks for having us, Jason.
Oh, welcome, and I appreciate you guys choosing Headquarters Shop for your location to hold your meeting.
Well, tell us about the place.
Yeah, this facility was built in 1917, originally as a Standard Oil company. In 1921, Division of Highways took it over and started doing manufacturing and upfitting the Liberty fleet that was acquired from the federal government and from the war. We've been doing this type of work in this facility since 1921, and it still operates pretty much the same today.
So this is the oldest building in Caltrans.
This facility is the oldest building in Caltrans.
Now, I thought headquarters was the oldest building.
Headquarters is number 2.
Well, that explains the smell.
All right, well, let's take a look around and see if we can figure out what that is.
I'll follow you.
All right.
Okay, Jason, so tell me about this.
So this is the assembly line. This is assembly run is what we call them. The trucks come in, cab chassis. They come in about 5 at a time.
5 at a time.
So the first one that comes in, of course, starts the run. It's bare frame rails. And as it progresses through the run, we start adding components to it, and we interject all the parts and pieces that we have manufactured.
So it could be like a plow, any kind of truck?
It could be any kind of truck. It could be a cone body, it can be a cargo body, plow truck. The plow truck is our main core that we do. That's kind of our bread and butter.
Okay.
We do it the best in the industry. We've proven it. We've sent out the data, and we've put on a challenge with some of the industry, and we've proven that we do it the best, most
So we
efficient.
just buy it stripped.
We
And
buy
then
it stripped,
We make it a plow.
and then we make it into a plow. All of the pieces on the truck that we interject are designed and manufactured at this location.
Show me some more.
All right, well, let's take a look over here.
Okay, Jason, you got to tell me what nut do you tighten with something like this?
So this wrench, what the mechanics are currently using this for today, is to cinch down those nuts on that knuckle boom there. So this is an articulating boom, and this is the run for the fence and guardrail trucks. We have our pilot truck that's just about finished up here.
Why does it have to be so big? What's it doing?
So in the fence and guardrail, it has to pick up a heavy load at a far distance.
Oh.
So this crane will pick up 7,000 pounds at 20 feet.
So this is called what?
This is what we call the laser room.
What goes on in here?
So in here, again, engineering drawings come out to the technician that's operating the laser. And from the engineering drawing,
So they're cutting
they'll cut these pieces out.
out of how thick is this metal?
So this is 10 gauge. It's 10 gauge stainless steel.
And it starts as a big giant sheet like
Starts
that.
as a sheet that's 5 by 10. This machine is a 5,000 watt laser. It'll cut up to 1 1/8 mild steel, 3/4 inch stainless steel, and 3/4 inch aluminum.
So that's much more powerful than the ones they use in Star Wars, right?
Absolutely, yes. Much more powerful, much cooler. So this will come from the laser as a flat piece. Comes out of the laser flat. All the edges are cleaned off on it. Then it'll come into the sheet metal room, and we will put the bends on it and form it to the shape and the profile that we need it to be to make it into the part. So in the field, if something were to happen to this part, if it were to get bent or destroyed in an accident or work damage, we could replicate this part within a matter of hours. We can get it out to the districts, ship it to them, and keep that piece of equipment in service.
Very cool. So you guys are like Santa's workshop.
Right, yep, exactly. All the elves are working hard.
I love it.
All of the equipment that we build here gets this medallion put on it. This is a badge and a symbol of we take pride in our equipment, built and maintained with pride.
So Jason, I see a bunch of wire. I just got to tell you, Jay Tinker cannot come in here.
Yeah. This is a very unique room. This is one of the more exciting places on the campus here. So all the components and the lighting and anything electrical on our units that we manufacture, we got to have a wire harness to get the power to them from controls in the cab.
Okay.
So in the past, what has happened is we'd send the drawings, the engineering drawings, out to vendors, and they would build harnesses for us, usually not on time. So what we decided to do was invest in some equipment, get some training, get our guys trained up to build wired harnesses, and we've actually gotten to the point now where we're better than OEM manufacturing of wiring harnesses.
So you make them all from scratch?
We make them all from scratch off an engineering drawing.
So Jason, are you repossessing boats? What are you doing in here?
Yeah, it kind of looks that way. So this is the bridge inspection boat. We have dive crew here down the street behind Farmers Market that does all the bridge inspections. It's one of our customers for the Sacramento area. We have a lot of resources here, and because of that, we are able to help maintain equipment from the districts as well and support the districts in doing winter prep and bringing in snow equipment to refurbish during the spring and have everything ready for November 1, our deadline for winter prep.
Okay, Jason, so you guys stock a lot of equipment too. You have like a warehouse function.
Right, so a lot of this equipment is for projects that's coming up and runs that we run through the shop, but we also support the field. So the attenuators, the bodies, if they have a wrecked attenuator out in the districts, we have one in inventory. We can ship to them right away and again keep that equipment up and running. We are the only warehouse for Caltrans and Division of Equipment. We house most of our bigger items such as the plows and the bodies, and we do also have specialized items that are on our build sheets so that in the districts they can look down the build sheet and find part numbers for the items that they're in need of, and we'll send them out of our warehouse here at headquarters.
Well, Jason, I think everybody is going to recognize this room because they're sitting in this room right now.
Right, so this is our paint and finals shop. We do all the delineation, all the decals. The stripes that are put on all of these vehicles are put on by hand. They have templates that they would lay on this and cut this out with the razor and then apply everything. Like I said, it's all done by hand.
Well, Jason, I want to thank you for letting us come by and have a tour. You seem a little distracted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I appreciate you.
okay.
All right, that's enough of this now. Don't you have trucks to build?
Yeah, I do, absolutely.
Come on,
Well, I guess
we'll build some trucks.
I guess we're done. Back to you, George.
All right. All right. Hey, Bob, that was very informative.
Thank you.
I really like the video. In the back of us, we have a very fine piece of machinery or a truck. Can you tell us more about this?
So this is a fence and guardrail truck. This is the pilot. So this is one of 34 that we're currently building here at headquarters shop in that building right over there. This truck is basically the Swiss Army knife of the Caltrans fleet. It can go out and do anything you want to do for the guardrail work or the bridge work. So it can replace a guardrail, it can drill holes, it could lift 7,000 pounds like Jason said in the video. So you take that in consideration, that's back there where the cameras are, and it can go straight out and pick up 7,000 pounds. This is the largest crane that we've ever put on a truck like this. You can put larger, but it takes a bunch of certificates and licenses to do. So, and it's really expensive to get those licenses. So this is the largest that we've ever put on a crane. It is computer controlled. It has remote control that goes over your shoulders, and you can walk around the job and actually stand right where you're letting something down and pick it up. It drills holes. It pulls guardrail posts. It puts posts back in. They have a capability of actually a water tank so that you can mix concrete. It also has a very high volume compressor under it, so you can run two 90-pound jackhammers at the same time. And it's all controlled through the cab. So that's where IT comes in, is helping us get to where we can have our laptop set up and communicate with the internet and get all the programming from the manufacturers. This truck, by far, is one of the best trucks that we've ever built in this area because we actually listen to our customers. Every time we build a pilot for a run, we invite the users to the compound, and we just did that last week with this truck. And they walk around it, we put the crane out, we lift stuff up, we show them all the things, and then we take their input. And before we actually finish the other 33, all those considerations will be implemented into this truck also.
Very nice. How much would something like this cost?
Well, you know, Mike, if you have to ask. You
I can't afford it. All right.
They're right around $385,000.
Hey, Kamal, I'll have to sacrifice some of your storage arrays, and Russ, no servers for you, and John, no networking devices for you. We gotta basically buy one of these and test drive it. Just to sacrifice ourselves, for our customers.
Right, and so they take about 2,000 man hours to build also. So this is probably the highest man hour build that we have in any truck that we have on the property. So it's an investment. Why do we do it that way? It's just, we get that question all the time. You can't go buy this truck anywhere. Nobody makes it. It's specific to Caltrans. And the key is that when we put this out on the road, we've got other people that do this kind of work that are coming to us saying, that is a really nice truck, can you build us one? And so, we can't do that, but they do look at some of the things that we do and incorporate it into some of the things that they build. So
All right.
these are custom built trucks for the Caltrans job that they go and do.
It's terrific.
Great, thanks.
Huh?
Can I hit the horn?
You can definitely hit the horn. I encourage you, the doors are unlocked. If anybody wants to climb up in the cab and take a look at it, honk the horn. I think the key thing for us is you see the badge there. That goes on every vehicle that we put out of this shop. That's our badge of honor. That means that this is quality built unit here at headquarters. So if you see that, that means it's built here.
Carl was being really reserved there, offline, he and I were talking. He wants to drive it.
He wants to take it for a spin.
Yeah, if I could actually take it for a spin, that'd be awesome.
So
I was up playing earlier, by the way.
we used to make a bet, if you can start it, then you can drive it.
All right.
I'll give it a shot, yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Bob,
You're welcome.
for coming today. We have a little thank you gift.
Oh, thank you very
to say
much.
thanks for hosting us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Really appreciate it.
Enjoy your time at Division of Equipment.
What's
Great.
next, Carl?
Well, we joked about it, but now that everybody's here, too, George is really sorry that he couldn't make it today. This is the first all-staff that he's missed in 4 years. He had a conflict with a statewide a meeting that he couldn't get out of. So you're stuck with us. So we'll get into our normal, the way we normally provide updates for each DC, gives you a quick update of what's going on in their area. And we'll start with IMD, with Mike.
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. So I have 3 things that I want to update everyone with today. First is the ServiceNow, also known as Snow, or our ticketing system, the new one, replacing Heat. So we're making tremendous progress with this project. This project, just between us, it is a very transformational project for our department. It's going to allow us to do things better, cheaper, and with quality and greater control. So out of the gate, we've been really going after the IT asset management module, and that entails hardware assets and software assets as well. So the team has been doing tremendous work. I know that we have stood up a non-production environment already. We have performed multiple scans on the network to auto-discover assets that are connected to the wire on the network in various segments, and we have completed all of that work. And discover lots and lots of hardware assets as well as software assets. We are now working, on the documentation of the as-is and the to-be processes and procedures. We've been working very closely with property control. As you know, the department has never had a single system that allows IT to really do this, and also accommodate property control to, do what I call separation of duties to ensure that we own what we own or should own and be able to track all of these assets all in one systems, and we're doing that. I know Olivia has been very collaborative and very supportive on the project, and we look forward to continue to work with her. So everything is going great. There's a big date that I'm looking forward to. It's March 16. That's when we're going to have the system launch with asset management, also with the CMDB and the request for fulfillment capability so that people can start requesting for services as relate to IT assets. So that's where we have it right now, and more to come, and I will be more than happy to share the progress as we move along. Next, I want to talk about EDR on the servers. Well, let's take a step back. Several months back, we talked about EDR. Now, Carl told me, don't name the product because it may compromise, what we're using in our environment. So EDR stands for Endpoint Device Response System, right? And I will not name that out of respect for Carl's request. But, with all your help in the districts and headquarters, we have managed to deploy this solution to all the endpoint devices on the desktops and the laptops, 23,000 devices. And we are more secure now than we were a year ago. But we didn't stop there. I've been working with Russ and his team to really test and pilot and really deploy the same solution out to our servers. Last night, Russ updated me with all the fine work that you guys have contributed to this. We are now closer to 900 servers that have the same endpoint detection and response system. We are now much, much more secure than we were 3 months ago. So we're not going to stop there. There's still a lot more work to be done, but we're chipping away and we're enhancing our security posture over time. And I just want to thank everyone who's been contributing to this effort. Lastly, I want to touch on the infrastructure management division realignment that we have been engaged in doing. In a nutshell, we're trying to basically achieve 2 objectives. The first objective is maybe 3 objectives. The first thing is to make sure that we have the personnel infrastructure that is required to deliver the services that we are chartered to deliver, right? So I'm not going to bore you with all the IT infrastructure services in the 7 minutes that I have, but really what it boils down to is to establish another management layer that Caltrans has never had, and that is what we call IT Managers 2. So I'm very pleased that we have been able to establish that, but it didn't end there. We have also gone through the selection process, and I want to take a moment to really congratulate Ron Clement, Russ Watts, and Kamal Kafiol. Ron was appointed to the ITM2 position, overseeing the Southern California IT operations branch. Russ was appointed to the IT infrastructure service branch, and Kamal was appointed to the end user technology service branch. So we did not find a viable candidate for Northern California IT operations. That effort is in process right now, and I want to thank Ron for basically showing the work and overseeing all districts until which time we fill that position. We're really close. We're setting up interviews either after the Christmas holidays or after the New Year, so that we can move on with the appointment for that position. But in addition to the ITM2 progress that we have made, I would also like to reach out and congratulate Darren Shive, Daniel Peck, Tony Doe, Joe Dominguez, and Jacob Elwood for their successful completion of the selection process to be appointed recently into the ITM1 positions. So congratulations to you all. You have deserved it. Through a very, very competitive process. We still have a lot more work to be done. But in addition to the ITM3, we have also took opportunities to elevate supervisory positions as well as specialist positions from associate to ITS1. And we have made numerous appointments up and down the state in various districts, and this is all I can tell you. We've done a lot of work, but there's still a lot more opportunities for us in the realignment to be done in 2020. So I look forward to all of my managers and the team to help me complete that effort. That's all I have. Thank you. Next, we have Laksu, who's going to give an update on PBMD's activities.
Yes,
Luck?
thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
I also have 3 topics I want to discuss with all of you and give you guys an update. The first one is time reporting. We are going to switch over to the new time reporting process effective January. We spend over 60% of our IT budget on labor costs. So it's very important as we evaluate our charging practices that we charge our hours to the appropriate reporting code, activity, and sub-activity. In doing so, we get a better understanding of the IT services that we provide to the enterprise. Having those data is critical. It allows us to do workload tracking, it allows us to make better informed decisions, and more importantly, it allows us to provide better services to our program by assigning the right resources to those prioritized projects. This new time reporting process is mandatory. Training is currently underway. So for those of you who have already completed training, thank you. For those of you who have not had a chance to attend training, don't worry. We're going to continue to host training sessions all the way up through February. This new process, again, is mandatory. So make sure if you haven't had a chance to sign up for the next session. And if you guys are curious and want to know more information, we do publish information on the TBM site available on OnRamp. Additionally, if you have questions, comment, feedback, don't hesitate, send an email to the IT TBM inbox and we'll be able to address you, especially for managers and supervisors. If you guys want specific tailored training to your group, reach out to us and we'll try to accommodate you. As we continue down this journey for the next 6 months, we'll continue to monitor and evaluate the process. And based on your feedback, we'll make refinements along the way. The next update relates to procurement. To date, we've processed 107 procurement orders. And that total only equates to 1/3 of the expected orders for this fiscal year. This tells us we still have a lot of outstanding orders that have not been processed yet. Guys, we're already at the midpoint. So contract managers, buyers, please don't delay. Put your packages together and submit it to us. And it really depends on the procurement vehicles that you guys use, but every procurement vehicle have a very specific deadline. If you miss that deadline, your order is at risk of not being executed. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where there's a lapse in services, right? So again, please take the time, prioritize, put your packages together. What we're going to continue doing is also continue to host those monthly Ask Acquisitions Forum. The forum is very beneficial. It's an opportunity for us to partner with the district's buyer. It allows us to share information, answer any questions, and also solicit feedback on how we can do better. Moving into 2020, we're going to open up that forum to include headquarter resources as well. Another exciting thing about procurement that I want to share with each and every one of you is that we finally completed a comprehensive IT acquisitions desk manual. That desk manual will be available to each and every one of you come January as a reference tool. The desk manual contains checklists, step-by-step instructions on how to put a package together, and also an explanation on the different procurement vehicle. We get a lot of questions on what vehicle should I use, what are the pros and cons. All that information is going to be available on that desk manual, so stay tuned for that information and check it out once it's available. And also, we're starting planning for training opportunities as it relates to acquisition. With all the new hires and new contract managers, we want to make sure that you guys are empowered and you understand the process so that you can put together a complete package to avoid any unnecessary delay and get to those solutions and product that you need to be successful. The last update I want to give you relates to our High Five program. Have you guys seen any of these floating around? We're really excited about this program. This is really our internal peer-to-peer recognition program. And the idea for this program generated from the Innovation Challenge, where we want to improve our communication. Each and every one of you do such amazing work on a day-to-day basis. And this is really a fun way to acknowledge and recognize one another. I want to say thank you to Kimberly Riley. She spearheaded this program for us, so thank you. And guys, if you guys need more of this, please reach out to her. We'll send this out to you guys. And again, look around. If you see someone do something amazing and awesome, give them a high five. And with that, that's the latest update from PBMD. I'm going to high five Carl and have him come in here as their security staff.
Literal high five there. So I'm going to talk about ARM next. It seems appropriate after talking about high five. We'll talk about the ARM. So ARM is the application roadmap project that we're working on to develop the infrastructure needs and a roadmap for keeping our infrastructure refreshed on the IT side. And that means we have to go out and look at what do we have. And at last count, we have about 340 applications that we're looking at. By the way, that list, we're chipping away at it. And the process is called rationalization. So we look at the applications and we say, where are there overlaps? Where are there things that we could gain efficiencies because we have two programs doing the same thing, as one example. Other things include maybe there's a better, newer technology out in the market where we could replace an old system, like a mainframe system. We still have a mainframe system. So that kind of work is we have a vendor helping us out, contractor KPMG, and we've had kickoff meetings with just about all of the program areas at HQ, and we've received some really positive feedback. Some areas they didn't even know they had overlap until we brought them the list and started to have that conversation. So it's really exciting work, and we're looking forward to coming up with what is the right answer for the legislature when we go back for our request for hardware infrastructure funds. The next thing I'll talk about is PAM, which is Privileged Access Management. And as you know, we are under attack all the time at Caltrans. We have people trying to break into our systems. We have targeted attacks now, at the latest count, roughly about one a week, where it's actually a socially engineered, targeted attack against a specific employee, and they send a malware through a business email compromise and try to break into their system. A lot of these look like nation-state sponsored. So we need everybody's help, and of course the first thing that the bad guys, and I'll say bad guys and gals, do when they break in is they want to escalate privilege, right? They want to get in and get to the, you capture the flag as you get the domain admin credentials. So the PAM system is specifically designed to put some controls around how you do privilege escalation, including you would go through our multi-factor system. And that is proven, market research in the industry has proven that's a very effective way to stop them in their tracks. And the last thing I'll talk about is our enhanced security controls. I won't bore you with the full list, but just in brief, we are rolling these out in waves. I think we have one wave left coming up here. And we've received essentially, very, very little negative feedback. I think we've received a total of about 3 emails, and we're through several thousand people, of course. And that's things like blocking access to personal email. I think you heard me talk last time about employees downloading attachments that don't come through our normal security controls and then detonating bad stuff. So we're blocking access to personal email. We're blocking the ability to send PII, personally identifiable information. So no social security numbers over email, please. And credit card information, because we have to, for compliance purposes, we can't allow credit card information to be sent over email. And that yellow banner or banner that you see when you get an email from the outside, most people have been, we've received positive feedback for that, to be alerted when you receive an email from the outside. So I will say that I just want to put a footnote on this, that we are under attack, as I say, and we need your help when it comes to deploying software. And I'm especially talking to the desktop support folks, that you use our established repo, the established repository, to go get that software, SECM. Don't go to CNET and download the latest version just because you can Google it and pull it down. For your machine or for anybody else's machine, you may hear us talk about in security the potentially unwanted programs, or PUPs, and I'll say that contain adware, but I will say most of the time, in the majority of cases at least that I've looked at, they contain malware. So if you're not getting it out of the repo, you're probably helping put malware on our system, and all that results in is us having to shoot it down and possibly re-imaging the system. So that's your public service announcement, your PSA for the day. So thanks to everybody, and I'll do a quick shout out because Mike mentioned managers to Richard Rao, a new ITM1 manager in our shop, is now over the IT security operations. So congratulations to Richard. And with that, I'd like to introduce Ramiro, who's going to talk about ADSD. High five.
High five. I think it's appropriate that I start with an introduction. I'm sure a lot of people don't know me. I've been around Caltrans only for 8 months. So it's Ramiro Carrasco. I'm the branch chief for Application Development and Support Division. So I have a couple updates for you today. I want to focus and give you an update on the Bimodal, and also want to give you an update on the Caltrans Web Accessibility for All, also known as CWAA. So first of all, I thought it would be a good idea that I would really explain what Bimodal is, because I don't know that we have gone through that process enough. So typically, the way that we develop applications is in two types of modes. So mode one is probably what you're mostly familiar. It's how we traditionally been doing it for decades. We use waterfall methodologies, and we typically develop an application from start to finish and then roll it out. Mode two is what we're practicing with Bimodal. And the focus here is that we're much more agile. We take risks, and we're able to really rapidly develop some of these applications. And we focus on tools that are meant to do that. So they're low-code, no-code tools. So for example, we are experimenting with SimplyGov, with Salesforce, and most recently we started looking at ServiceNow, since that's our most recent acquisition. So I want to give you a couple examples of two projects that we have started to roll out in SimplyGov. And by the way, SimplyGov is a complete no-code solution. So everything has been done through configuration and administration. So the first project is something that we're doing for Carl's team. It's the administrative request form. And that's how people come in and ask for access or actually elevated access to their computers. That's already getting rolled out, and it's estimated to be completed in April of 2020. The next project, we partnered with Human Resources, and it's the Staff Expectations Memo. Everyone has to sign these annually, and now it's being automated. We're currently going through a pilot, and it includes mainly HR and also you guys, IT. Currently, I just got the numbers, and I'm seeing that we got about 140 staff that already went through that. We have about 65 that are in different stages, but we're looking for this pilot to get to 900. We really want your feedback. We really want to know what the problems are so we can address them before we jump into the new year, where we want to onboard an additional 21,000 plus employees. So please, when you get back to your desk, hopefully you take a few minutes to go through that process. I want to mention one more project that we're doing for CalSTA. Is the CalSTA issue memo tracking system. And that's being replaced from an Access database with Salesforce. What Salesforce is doing for us is that while it does low-code, no-code, where you can do configuration and administration, you can also code. So you can add additional functionality. So that was just a good candidate for us to use that platform. With that, I want to jump into the next update that I have, and it's around the CWAA. And I thought about this, that it would be better if I will give you some metrics around some of the accomplishments to kind of show you what has been done. But before I get into the accomplishments, I really want to give a shout out to Mike Nguyen and also Saeed Bakshi and all the staff that have been working on this project for over a year and a half. I think the metrics will tell the story of all the work that has been getting done. So if you look at the screen, the first metric is around the Caltrans website being 99.9 ADA compliant. The industry standard is 70%. So you can see that accomplishment there. We have trained 207 webmasters. We have created 30 guides, including a specific guide for the webmasters, so they could be really, understand the ADA compliance guidelines. We are now over 14,000 documents remediated, almost close to the $15,000 mark. And last, we have remediated 51 out of 57 web applications. So now, what do we do now? What's next? What are the next steps? So I think what we need to do is really develop and implement a digital accessibility strategy that is sustainable. So really what I'm saying is that I want to transition the project to maintenance and operations. But we need to build some really strong pillars around that so it can be sustainable. So some of the areas that we need to work on is putting some good governance structures, putting some well-defined roles and responsibilities, specifically that the business understands their role and we understand from the IT perspective what is our role, that we have strong standards and policies, and finally, that we also have a training program with all the documentation that's needed so we can all be informed around this compliance. So that concludes my update. I want to thank you for being here, and I believe the next step is to bring the division chiefs to answer any questions.
All right, Ron, can you look into the Ask George mailbox and let us know what kind of questions you receive and tee them up?
You bet. And we'll start with you, Mike. How's that?
Okay, all right.
So these are two questions. They come from District 7. While IT Manager 1 positions are now in the districts, when will IT Specialist 2 positions be available in the districts?
That's an excellent question. Well, what I plan to do is to sit down with you, Ron, and all of the senior leadership team members and start looking at IMD operations across the state, up and down the districts, at headquarters as well, and really determine the skills, the expertise that are needed in the required area, and we'll make that decision appropriately. So I hope to do that right after the holidays.
Thank you, Mike. The next question is, will OneDrive, Box, or another solution be implemented for Caltrans?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because I've been working with Russ and Marcy from agency to really, put that into the test drive mode. We've been kicking the tires on the OneDrive. There are some pluses and there are some gaps that we have discovered. We looked at Box as well as Dropbox, and they all have pros and cons. But we're zeroing in an enterprise solution, and hopefully Russ will come to me to make all the proper recommendations, looking at requirements, security,
Thank you.
and total cost of ownership, and we'll hope to basically select a solution after the New Year's as well.
Great, thank you, Mike. Speaking of security, Carl, the next question is for you. What are some of the activities on our network that you see that concern you?
The things that keep me up at night.
The things that keep you up?
So we do have the EDR solution in place, and that does help me sleep at night, and that does help shoot down the bad actors when they do attempt to get onto our network. Probably the thing that is the most jarring recently is seeing the attacks where we have a presentation we can give demonstrating our security operations team actually seeing and drilling into one of the attacks and calling the person who got the email. It was somebody basically imitating a union rep, and the emails all and the information all looks like it was coming from China, but they sent the email at just the right moment. It's from a Gmail account, but they sent it at just the right moment in the conversation with the union rep, masquerading as them. And if you didn't look at the from address real closely, it contained a malicious payload, And the person, of course, opened the payload, a Word document that had a macro type thing. And sure enough, it tried to detonate on our system. So, I mean, you're seeing in the newspapers, even right now as I speak, I think it's New Orleans is what they're $1 million in already on a cyber attack. So it takes a village. It takes all of us to be vigilant, and our EDR solution is a big help with that. And like I said earlier, making sure you get the software from the right repo helps a lot too. Stay tuned for a whole lot more security controls coming out as we deploy all the things that we just bought as well.
Thank you, Carl. The next two questions are for all the division chiefs. We'll start with question number one. Where do you see IT 5 years from now?
I'll start. Let me start on this side.
Please.
The fundamental, the basics of IT is more than technology. It's the people, it's you guys. As we evolve and grow to prepare for the future, it's all about continuous training and development to upskill each and every one of us so that we can be more adept at supporting the growing needs and be agile to adjust to all the different changes. With that in mind, more investment in terms of training and opportunities, right? Becoming more generalist, looking at our roles differently and being fluid so that we can better support. So that way, at the end of the day, we're looking at Caltrans being much more innovative, launching more innovation campaign so that we can collaborate and create something amazing like this in IT through those collaboration and partnership, more engagement with our business, stepping out from the traditional waiters and waitress roles and becoming more advisors.
Thank you. So I'll speak from the perspective of ADSD and what I see coming in as a new person to this organization. So what I see is a lot of consolidation of applications. And the reason I bring that up is because ADSD supports over 250 applications, and there's 350 across Caltrans. We can't just continue growing and growing and expect that we're going to have the people to be able to support that. So I think that's an area that I would see additional consolidation of these applications. And some of the tools that can help us is really new platforms like the Salesforce that I brought up, the ServiceNow. You really collapse a lot of these systems together and they help you to become much more efficient. And last, it's really that I think that a lot of these workloads over time are going to move to the cloud, because a lot of the offerings that the vendors have, they only give you one option, cloud. So we're already seeing that when new projects come up, that the tools and the applications that are available to solve that problem are all cloud solutions. And with that, obviously going with what Luck was saying is we have to train then, our staff to be ready for those changes.
Yeah, so I think if you talk about the 5-year horizon, a lot of it is probably, we're standing in front of it, right? As Bob was talking about, the connected devices, connected vehicles. DMV just announced you're going to see trucks without drivers in them because they're allowing autonomous vehicle permits to some of the manufacturers in California. You can probably see them here in Sacramento. Well, all of that, when you start talking about the ITS or the infrastructure side, the V to I, that's us. It's not a settled question, but if that's infrastructure that's owned and maintained as a public good, and we're not going to resell your data because it's a public good, then what does the cybersecurity for that look like? And I think in 5 years, I hope we're going to have some more answers to a lot of the questions right now about how the standards are going to work in that space. And getting ready for the Olympics in Los Angeles 2028, what does the cybersecurity for the autonomous vehicles and the infrastructure and all of that look like? We're working on that, we're actively working on that, and there are a lot more questions than answers right now.
All right. Well, for me, if Luck is gonna, focus on, and all of us are focusing on investment in our most valuable asset, the people, and Romero is going to help streamline technologies and do great, application development, faster, better, cheaper. And Carl is going to help us, secure everything and dealing with infrastructure, V to V, I to V, and all that stuff, in the future. And we continue to partner with programs such as traffic operations, equipment, within the maintenance and operations, project delivery, I will see greater partnership, right? Working with our programs so that we can be advisors, to really identify the proper technologies to apply to the right problems, to solve business problems, right? But let me sum it all up. We're going to get to do cool things, new things, secure things, right? Innovative things. I think Caltrans IT is going to be the destination employer where IT staff, will say, hey, man, they're doing some really cool stuff over at Caltrans. That's where I want to be. So that's what I see, in terms of the horizon 5 years from now. That basically concludes our meeting today. So Ed and Jay, can you tell us where we're going? Where's our next stop? Can you give us a hint? Here's the hint. All right. Anybody want to take a shot at it? Any ideas where we're going next? Okay. Universal Studio. Where is that? Which district? You're close. Not close enough. D12. Anaheim.
It's not actually Universal Studios.
All right, it's Disneyland, right? Okay, it's Disneyland. Okay, we'll go to District 12 next. So with that, I'll turn it over to Carl to close.
We'll go look for Baby Yoda, yeah.
All right.
Good, we have geeks in the audience. They got the reference, good. I mean that in a good way. So, yeah, the holidays are really all about being with family and friends and being safe. And as you heard Bob talk about this facility, we want to carry that message into our lives. Caltrans has we're trying to build a culture of safety for years, and the motto is towards 0 deaths on the road, and that applies to all of us in our private lives as well. Hope you'll all have a very safe and healthy and happy holiday with your friends and family, whether it's Kwanzaa or Christmas or Hanukkah or Festivus or whatever you celebrate. Hope that you all have a very safe and happy holiday. Thank you very much.